Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Talat Chaudhary. In this lecture, I will explain the compartment syndrome. Compartment syndrome is taken from Bailey and Love, a short textbook of surgery. Compartment syndrome, when there is an increased interstitial pressure within closed osteofascial or osseofascial compartment, which results in microvascular compromise. So, compartment syndrome is an increased interstitial pressure within a closed osteofascial or osseofascial compartment, which results in microvascular compromise. Compartment syndrome is a surgical emergency, as delayed treatment may lead to irreversible muscle ischemia. Pressure studies are not reliable in case of compartment syndrome. If there is any doubt about compartment syndrome, perform fasciotomy immediately. ICP is the intracompartmental pressure studies for compartment syndrome, but these studies are not reliable. If there is any doubt about the compartment syndrome, perform fasciotomy immediately. So, the main causes of the compartment syndrome are fractures and soft tissue trauma. If we talk about fractures, almost 70% of the cases, 70% of the most common cause of the compartment syndrome is the fractures, that is 70%, and second most common cause is soft tissue trauma, soft tissue contusion, that is 23%. So, lower limb fractures, both open fracture and closed fracture, both can cause compartment syndrome. Upper limb fractures, in case of arm, forearm, they can cause compartment syndrome. Injury to the buttock, abdomen, injury to the hand and foot, all these cases causes compartment syndrome. Thigh and arm trauma, soft tissue trauma, arterial injuries can cause compartment syndrome. Burns, particularly circumferential, third degree burn, prolonged compression after surgical intervention to a limb, and bleeding disorders, for example, patient taking anticoagulant and there is a and suffered from road traffic accident, this can cause compartment syndrome. Post-ischemic swelling, that is reperfusion injury, it can cause compartment syndrome. Tight casts, dressings, extravasation of intravenous infusion, that is contrast, which is injected under pressure. So these can cause compartment syndrome. So most common cause of compartment syndrome is fractures, that is 70%, and second most common cause of compartment syndrome is soft tissue contusion, that is 23% of the cases. So these are the features of the compartment syndrome. Pain that is out of proportion to that expected. Pain that is out of proportion. Pain that is increasing in intensity. Pain that is worse on passive stretching of the muscle in the affected compartment. So these are the three main features of the compartment syndrome. I repeat it again. Pain that sorry, pain that is out of proportion to that expected, pain that is increasing in intensity, pain that is worse on passive stretching of muscles in the affected compartment. Other features of the compartment syndrome are paralysis, that is related to pressure on the nerves, paresthesia, that is related to pressure on the nerves, pallor, that is related to the pressure on the blood vessels, and pulselessness. It is gradually it is a gradually feature that occurs late due to pressure on the blood vessels. Paresthesia is an other early sign. Pain that is out of proportion. The first sign is the pain, and paresthesia is another early sign. Absent pulses are not common. If the pulses are absent, so one should rule out the vascular injury. Compartment syndrome, it is generally a clinical diagnosis. It can be difficult to diagnose in the presence of impaired consciousness. If the patient is unconsciousness, if the patient is a child, if the patient is having regional nerve block, So in these cases, compartment syndrome is difficult to diagnose. Compartment In compartment syndrome, intracompartmental pressure studies (ICP) pressure studies, these can be performed when there is a diagnostic uncertainty and in patients with altered level of consciousness, or patients who are intubated, or patients who have having head injury. So in these cases, ICP intracompartmental pressure studies can be performed. Multiple sites near but not in the fracture site. So pressure, intracompartmental pressures can be measured in all the compartments, but not in the fracture site. Remember this. Intracompartmental pressure cannot be measured in the fracture site. Remember and utilize this. Intracompartmental pressure studies cannot be measured in the fracture site but can be measured multiple sites near the fracture. All the compartments of the limb can be affected. So, what is the threshold for the fasciotomy? If the intracompartmental pressure is 30 or greater than 30 mm of Hg, it is the threshold for fasciotomy. Other is the if the intracompartmental pressure, if the difference between the diastolic blood pressure of the patient and the intracompartmental pressure is less than 30 or equal to 30, then it is also a threshold for fasciotomy. So there are two criteria for fasciotomy. If the intracompartmental pressure, that is ICP, if the intracompartmental pressure is equal to 30 or greater than 30 mm of Hg, it is a threshold for fasciotomy. If the difference between the diastolic blood pressure and the ICP is equal to 30 or less than 30, it is again a threshold for fasciotomy. So try to memorize these two criteria for fasciotomy. The physiology of compartment syndrome is there is an increased pressure in the compartment. Intracompartmental, in other words, intracompartmental pressure is increased. It causes the venous drainage pressure. It exceeds the venous drainage pressure, which causes the cut off perfusion of the muscle and reduced microperfusion. As a result, there is a tissue ischemia and irreversible muscle damage. So again, increased pressure in a compartment, when it exceeds the venous drainage pressure, it will cut off the perfusion of the muscle. There is a reduced microperfusion of a muscle, there is a tissue ischemia. As a result, irreversible muscle damage occurs. So what is the treatment of fasciotomy? What is the treatment of compartment syndrome? So answer is fasciotomy, immediate fasciotomy. Fasciotomy involves the incising the skin and the deep fascia with a long axial incision. So in lower limb, if there is a compartment syndrome, two longitudinal incision, medial longitudinal incision and the lateral longitudinal incision decompresses the compartment. So if the compartment pressure was high, the muscle will then seen bulging out of the fasciotomy opening. The lower limb is decompressed through two incisions. One is the medial longitudinal incision and other is the lateral longitudinal incision. Medial longitudinal incision is given 1 to 2 centimeter posterior to the medial border of the tibia. It decompresses the two compartments, superficial posterior compartment and the deep posterior compartment. Posterior compartment has two parts, superficial part and the deep part. So medial longitudinal incision decompresses the two compartments, superficial posterior compartment as well as deep posterior compartment. And other is the lateral longitudinal incision is given 2 centimeter lateral to the anterior border of the tibia. It compresses the anterior compartment and the peroneal compartment. So, treatment of compartment syndrome is fasciotomy. Fasciotomy. Late diagnosis of the compartment syndrome. It is a management dilemma, as the late fasciotomy may result in rhabdomyolysis, infection, it may need for amputation and death. So, late diagnosis of the compartment syndrome may cause death of the patient eventually. In terms of initial management, if the patient having compartment syndrome appears in emergency, first of all, as an initial management, remove the cast, remove the dressing, cut down to the skin, limb should be elevated, and perform fasciotomy immediately. There are some common pitfalls to be remembered in case of compartment syndrome. The incidence of compartment syndrome associated with high energy injury and low energy injury is nearly equal. Compartment syndrome can occur in open fractures as well as closed fractures, and there is a high incidence of suspicion of compartment syndrome, and one should be particularly vigilant if the patient is having altered level of consciousness. So, one last but not the least is the Volkmann's ischemic contracture in case of compartment syndrome. If the condition is left unrelieved, if the compartment syndrome is left unrelieved, or if the compartment syndrome is left untreated, then the nerves passing through the compartment will cease to function and the muscle will die and undergo fibrosis, shortening, that causes that is Volkmann's ischemic contracture. Volkmann's ischemic contracture. Thank you so much. Hope this lecture helps you a lot. Thank you so much.